Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Webinar Wednesday. This is your final week of back to school for September for Cruise Month. We do hope that you've enjoyed all of our trainings that we've brought to you over the last few weeks. If in future you feel like it's something you'd like to see more of moving forward, let us know. Give us some feedback. We appreciate it. So today's subject is the Princess Fleet. So there are some ships that if you're confident selling Princess, you probably sell all the time, you know a lot about, but we do have 17 ships in our fleet. So it's time today to have a look at what our fleet has in store for your passengers. So the Princess Fleet. We are a premium cruise line. When you get on board a Princess ship, if you've never been on one before, it's quite hard to imagine what life is like on board the ships. So I was an agent before I did this role, and I always thought, don't really know where it sits in the market, look and feel of it, that type of thing. Didn't really know what it was all about until I stepped on board. So in, I think it was 2019, no, 2020 maybe. Can't remember now. The years have just flown by. Stepped on board Emerald Princess. Actually, yeah, no, it wasn't 2020. It was more like 2022, 23. And she was amazing. She was an older ship. There were lots of people out in the industry going on these big, shiny, huge mega ships. And I went on Emerald and I absolutely loved her. From the minute that I stepped on board, I felt relaxed. It's like they say it's a feeling. I completely understood it once I got on board. We do want to make it feel home from home. We're all about the food. We're all about the service that you receive on board. Nothing is too much trouble. We are destination immersive. So our ships are built to get to these destinations that your customers want to travel to. But then across the fleet, we've got the feel of it, the look. I feel now I've been on a few Princess ships that you get on one ship and then you get on another and you go, oh yeah, it's Princess, because they all have the same feel, even though the hardware, some of it is bigger. Some of our ships are a little bit older, but they all have that same feel on board. They all have the best beds at sea. They've all been designed by a bed doctor. Of course, we've got the best pizza at sea, that you will find that on every ship. And then we have our medallion experience, and it just makes it that bit more special for your guests. It personalizes their journey. I can't tell you, this weekend we've been on board Sun Princess where the agents experienced the medallions, and they were like, oh my word, the ones that had been on board for a few days, they were like, this is game changing. But we've had it for years. During the pandemic, no ships were sailing. It enabled us to roll out this medallion experience to every ship, to every person. And, it is industry leading. Nobody else has this sort of tech on board. It's a GPS on board the ship. It is in the ceiling. There are loads of touch points. It's absolutely amazing. So I'm going to kick you off with some fun facts now. But then as we go through later on, I'm going to throw in some little snippets too. So first lot of fun facts. Island Princess. So she's one of the babies of the fleet, the smaller ships. So imagine what some of the larger ones have got on board. She washes 36,000 dishes daily. Okay. Wow. 36,000. It took 5.5 million man hours to build that ship. And she's one of the babies. She's one of the smallest ones. They bake 3,000 cookies on board at tea time. And then when you think of the laundry, 79,000 towels and 4,000 tablecloths on board. So when your customers are talking about tipping and you say, but it goes to the people behind the scenes, these are the kinds of facts that you can use, okay? And then a really random one for you, because I love a random fact. She houses 576 ping pong balls for the pickleball. There you go. We'll now move on to the next slide.
Expecting you
Yay, we're feeling the love with the love boats. So, our fleet, what does it look like? We have 17 ships, or we will have as of next year. So, we start at the top with Coral Class. So, Coral Class are our smallest ships, but still, you can see there they house 2,200 guests on board. They're our little babies of the ship, but although there are babies, they're celebrating their 21st birthdays this year. So, happy birthday, Covalent Island. And they are designed to be a more intimate ship, but be big on style. They are small enough to get into those hard to reach places like the Panama Canal. And as it says there, the Antarctica's icy fringes. They can get into all of these smaller ports. They generally do our world cruising, around Australia and places like that. Your more immersive destinations, shall we say. Island, interesting fact. Are you ready for Coral Class? Island has got palm trees in her atrium, and Coral has got a lounge called the Universe Lounge, which has got 3 revolving stages in it. So although we think of it as being small ships, they've still got all the facilities of our larger ships. 2,000 passengers is still a lot of people on board. So yeah, all good. Then we move on to the grand class of ship. So some of these are our old favourites here. Emerald being there, being the first ship that I experienced with Princess. Absolutely loved her. So these all have a similar feel on board, but they are more of your home from home when you're away. The cabins, I was really surprised at the size of the cabins, to be honest, when we were on Emerald. There was loads of space, loads of wardrobe space. We had a huge mini bar in the cabin. They were really super big. So some fun facts for you on these ships. Diamond Princess was built for the Japanese market, and she does have an Izumi Japanese bath on board. Caribbean Princess. She's got a travelator to the nightclub, Skywalkers. So very well, coming into the 2000s there, you see on the build dates, they were looking for something a little bit snazzy and a little bit different, weren't they? But the grand class of ships, these are the ones, Grand and Royal, I would say, well, most of the fleet, to be fair, have a really great fan base, I would say. People travel on them time and time again, and they want to go to these far-flung places, but experience it on a ship that they are familiar with. And like I say, we are a premium cruise line. So, 3,000 passengers, they're not mega ships. They are just a nice size. Royal class. So this is where our sea walk comes in for the brave. So if you've seen it before, it's a glass walkway. It's housed in different places on different ships. So, on some, it comes out off the side of the deck. On others, it's housed inside on the deck space, but you still have quite a number of decks below you to see the bottom. So for the brave only. If you're frightened of heights, I am, but I've actually managed it. It's not as bad as it makes it sound. These house the largest balconies at sea on our Royal class ships. Okay. So we've got Royal, Regal, Majestic, Sky, Enchanted, and Discovery. So Enchanted, Discovery, and Sky also house our Sky Suites. So if you've ever seen these, oh my, I can't tell you. I was super lucky in April, and the Sky concierge, Sky Suite concierge said, whoever was in that has moved out. They'd got off the ship and flown home. It was a celebrity. Not going to tell you who though. Do you want to come and have a tour? Because they've been titivating it while it's empty. So I was like, yeah, amazing. Let's go and have a look. And the videos that you see, we are going to show you a video on Sky shortly. But yeah, the video that you see, everything looks exactly like it. So when I went in, I was like, oh, I've seen that before. I've seen that before. It was amazing. Dyson hair dryers. You've got these huge, comfy circular day beds on your balcony at the back that lead into the sanctuary. You've got at the front of the ship the balcony that overlooks the pool deck, which also views the movies under the star screen. The bathrooms are, they're like, in houses you have the Jack and Jill bathrooms where you can get in from one bedroom into the bathroom and out through another door and all that jazz. You really feel like it's a little bit Alice in Wonderland when you're walking around, little pinch me moments. Absolutely beautiful. So they house the Sky Suites. They are some of our best suites at sea. Regal, for those of you that have been lucky enough to visit us on our ship visit program this year, Regal's been doing around Britain, and we have housed a lot of agents on board her this year. And she has, in the middle of the deck space, dancing illuminated fountains, so a little bit like the Bellagio in Vegas. And interesting fact for her, she was christened by the cast of the Love Boat, because obviously the Love Boat, well, not obviously, for those of you that are very, very young and not as old as me, the Love Boat show in the 80s was filmed, of course, on board a Princess cruise ship. And so this ship was christened by the cast. So those of you that do remember the show, there's a whole photograph down near guest relations of the crew, and signed pictures and everything. And it's just great that they're still involved with Princess Cruises. And then Sky. Sky is everybody's favourite ship from Southampton, isn't she? Everybody loves her. I love her. I've been lucky enough to sail on her twice now. And I have to say, the second time I got on board, I was like, oh, I've been here before, because that is the beauty of a Princess ship. When you get on board, so for instance, the piazza area on each of our ships is very, very similar. So when I went on Regal for the first time, I was doing a ship tour. Thank God we were in Liverpool and I was able to go, we're going on a magical mystery tour, because I was a little bit worried about, was I going to know where everything was? But actually, after being on Sky, I knew it already. And I was like, oh, this is this lounge, this is the theatre. And so it's for your customers, I would say, when they get back on board a ship, they feel immediately at home. Whereas some of these mega ships, you can take 4 or 5 days to actually even locate your cabin, never mind get to know the ship. So that's what I would say about a Princess ship, is you are able to enjoy your holiday sooner, because you feel like, oh, I know exactly where I am. Let's get relaxed, let's chill, let's crack on with the holiday. That is what I would say about Princess. And then we have the Sphere class, so Sun and Star Princess. I'm going to come to later in the presentation. Sun delivered this year, absolutely beautiful. We were lucky enough to be on her again over the weekend as she visited Southampton for the first time, and she goes out to the Caribbean for the winter. All singing, all dancing, larger than our other ships. They are the biggest ships in the fleet now. And Star joins us next year. And yeah, there is so much on board where you just walk around and go, wow, wow, wow. But it still has the Princess feel on board. So let's have a look at some of our ships in a little bit more detail. Okay, so some of the amazing destinations that our ships visit. So hence why, if we were mega ships, we wouldn't be able to get into some of these ports. So Royal class, these are the ones that you will probably sell the most of. Interesting facts, of course, I've got some. So we've got Royal Princess, Regal Princess, Majestic, Sky, Enchanted, and Discovery. Discovery, she launched during the pandemic. People tend to forget about her, but Discovery and Enchanted both house the 360 immersive dining experience on board. If you're not aware of this, this is something amazing that you can book for your guests. Well, I say you can book, they will book it, but you need to promote it to them. If they are doing something like a special anniversary, a big birthday, they are celebrating on board. It's an interactive dining experience. It's for all of the senses. So you enter a dining room, you are talked through your meal and your wine pairings with animations onto the table and screens that are animated all around you. So for instance, if they're talking about honey while you're on board, you'll see bees on the screens. Sorry if you're scared of bees, but they're not going to get you. They're on the screens. And then you'll get the scent of honey pumped into the room while they're talking about it. Truly is an amazing experience. Majestic Princess. So for those of you that have got teenagers like me who are obsessed with bubble tea, Majestic has a bubble tea counter on board. And Sky, everybody's favourite. So, as I said, we are going to watch a video on Sky. You can see the lovely balcony there for the Sky Suite in the central picture. The piazza to the left of these ships, this is your central hub. This is where your guests are going to be people watching. You've got the International Cafe on the ground floor. During the day, brilliant coffee culture in there. You know, you've got your pastries and specialty teas and coffees. Next deck up, you've got your photography studio. You've got your Good Spirits at Sea cocktail bar. You've also got your Future Cruise booking desk, which is brilliant for you guys as agents, because what do we want you to do? We want you to send your customers there. The booking comes straight back to you, because there is no better time to get them booked onto their next Princess Cruise than when they're on board enjoying the experience. And we do have different offers every single month on board. And then you've got the top deck space there. You can see just about on that picture, specialty dining is up there on Sky. Catch by Rudy is on that top deck. And on the opposite side, you've got Alfredo's Pizzeria. So absolutely brilliant place to people watch. And then at night, this is where some of your entertainment is going to come to life. So they're going to have live bands in there. We walked out of the Vista Lounge, which was the nightclub, and people were dancing in the atrium. We were like, oh my word. Now, I was lucky enough to be on for quite some time in April this year, managed to do some behind the scenes tours and things like that while I was on board. And the entertainment guys were explaining to me that they have to have different areas of the ship with a vocalist on, as well as the theatre production, because it frees up the dining room for space, because we don't want the dining rooms to get too overcrowded. Makes sense when you know about it, right? So that is why they have these pop-up singers here, there, and everywhere on board the ship. It might be in the Vista Lounge, maybe in the atrium, while the theatre is showing one of the shows. The theatre on board as well. The backstage, again, this is if you get the chance to do it, do it. The decks, it spans 6 to 9 decks behind the scenes. The pop-up flooring that comes up, you know, for the acts, it comes from 2 decks below, and it's all about the details in our shows. So we do have in the States a central studio where all of these shows are built, performed, practiced by the team. The guys on board, they spend 5 months on each ship and then get a month off, and they all move together. They work from Sky through to Enchanted, and they work super hard on these shows. And what I learned while I was on board is the costumes come from a place in America called Sylvia's, and they are $150,000 each. And we also have, interesting fact, a seamstress on board from Sylvia's that gets on to adjust the costumes. So if, for instance, one of the lead roles one night is poorly and the understudy needs to take on their part, they can adjust their costume to fit perfectly the person who's doing that role. Also, what I learned when I was on board, sorry if I'm boring you now with all these facts, but they put the performance at different levels if they're having a rough sea day. So it may be that we're a little bit shaky, so they remove the heels and they wear flats. Or if it's a little bit more shaky, they'll remove, if they're dancing on a table or something, you know, a chair or what have you, if they're stood on something, they'll remove that and they'll just do it on the stage. So I was like, wow, you don't think about everything that goes into these ships behind the scenes, but all of these things that are going on behind the scenes. We said on Sunday with the Sun event, it's like the swan paddling along, but underneath the feet are going, and it's all to make your guests' experience on board unforgettable. So yeah, should we have a little look at Sky then? Okay, so a little bit of an older video there. And yes, she is sailing all the way through from Southampton right through till 2026 now. So amazing. Okay, so Sphere class. This is the one that everybody is talking about at the moment and everybody is excited about. Absolutely amazing ships. 2 brand new ships to the Princess Fleet. The biggest in the fleet at 175,500 tons. They are going to carry 4,300 passengers. So as you can see, they are our largest ships in terms of guests on board. However, we're still not going to that next level of having thousands because, we want it to be a personalized experience on board. We don't want you queuing at bars and one thing and another. Not that you would with your medallion anyway, because you would just be ordering to wherever you are on the ship. You can see there the piazza. So we've still got that central space and it still feels like the piazza. Things are a little bit upside down. Is that the right word? I don't know. But like international cafes on the top deck rather than being on the bottom deck space. As you walk in, you've got there is a little coffee shop, and then you've got a cocktail bar on the bottom deck there. A lot of entertainment goes on in this piazza. But as you can see from the photo there, it's all about bringing the outside in on these ships. Very light, very airy, neutral colours. And this is where your first sphere is, in the piazza. So it's all about that natural daylight coming into the piazza. Absolutely beautiful. And then to the right there, we have the dome at the top of the ship. So the dome, wow, what can I tell you about this? On Sunday night, I was bopping away to Scott Mills and a little DJ set in there. It was amazing. So by day, it's, as you can see it there, giving you the vibe of Santorini, very chilled, very quiet. It's got an indoor-outdoor pool that goes out to the bar on the terrace at the front of the ship. And it's a very, very comfortable sunbeds in there. So chilled, a bit, like I suppose you could say it's a bit of a ocean beach type vibe in there. And then of a nighttime, we've got Cirque Eloise performing in there, our aerial performers, and various bits of entertainment as well. So it comes to life at night. Indoors, you've got the Cascade Bar, which has got a waterfall that's running all the way through. It's beautiful. Everybody will be getting a photograph there. And the bar at the side is it has some amazing cocktails, because these ships have got something like 230 something types of cocktail on board, which I have tried a few, I'm not going to lie, and they're all amazing, as you would expect. So should we have a little bit more on Sphere? Isn't she beautiful? Even the tenders look posh, don't they? Okay, so that is it really for our Princess Fleet. I hope you've learnt a lot today. If you want any more, let us know. Happy to put together some training for you. We've got the little QR code now. If you want to scan there, you can download our brochure, brand new, hot off the press, just released. Follow our social channels, so Facebook. Please don't forget, this week is our final giveaway week. It is the 5K giveaway this week, and all you have to do is book a 2025 sailing. So follow our Facebook. Loads of updates will be going on there. I'm sure we're going to be using the social platform because you've all engaged with us so well over the last few weeks. And on Friday, join me at 11 a.m. for a Kahoot on the fleet. And yes, you might find some of those interesting facts in the Kahoot. And you will be able to win prizes there as well. We have 3 prizes for the top 3 quizzes. That's what you want to call yourselves. And you will be able to secure some vouchers just in time for, there's lots of Christmas shopping going on at the moment, isn't there? So yeah, secure yourself some vouchers for that. And please visit OneSource, which we are expecting any time soon to have a newer version as well. So it's all singing. We're being dragged into 2024. So have a great week, everybody. And I will see you soon.